Welcome to Bits and Pieces Quilting. Today we are going to make another Scrappy Rainbow Quilt, so stay tuned. Hi, I'm Michelle, and today I want to revisit the scrappy strips of fabric that we made for the Scrappy Rainbow Quilt in response to Future Cat's Quilters Challenge. I had a bunch of leftover pieces, so I have another idea for how you can use these really cool scrap busting strips of fabric. So let's go down to the table and I will show you what I've got planned.
When preparing my strips of fabric for the Scrappy Rainbow, I had no idea how many I was going to need. So starting that project, I had about 8 of each color. And now I have about 3 and in some cases 3.5 strips left. So of course that means we have to make another project. So I have a completely different idea to use these strips. And I have all of these pieces left. This is from my original fabric pull for all of the scraps. So I can make some more strips if I need to. And there were a few comments in the Scrappy Rainbow video asking for some more insights into how to make the strips. So I'm gonna get started on this new design, but I will take you over to the sewing machine, and once I figure out which pieces I might need, then I'll show you actually how some of these little tiny pieces get sewn together into these strips, and I'll show you how that works. So this design I think is going to be a lot simpler. I think I'm just going to start probably with a 4.5 inch. This isn't 4.5 inches. This is just my gray. 4.5 inch square of gray. And then I'm just going to surround it with the rainbow pieces. And I think what I'm going to do, these are just my scraps, just to sort of show you the idea. So that one color will go along one side, the other color would come along the top, a third color down the side, and then a fourth color across the bottom. Something like that. And so I think what I'm gonna do is all of the warm colors. So pink, red, orange, yellow around one, and then all the cool colors, teal, green, blue, and purple around the others, and then alternate those blocks across the quilt. So I'll still get that rainbow effect, but I'm gonna just split the colors up that way. Normally when making a block that looks like this, what I would do is cut the sides the same length and the top and bottom the same length. But in this case, I think what I'd like to do is have the colors chase each other around, and I'll show you what I mean once I perfect my approach. So I'm gonna cut a couple of test blocks, make them up, see if my idea works, and then I'll come back and walk you through it step by step.
I've made a few blocks and I'm really happy with the way they look. As I mentioned before, I decided that I wanted to have the colors kind of chase around the square. And so I looked at all of the pieces I had, and I started here with a 4.5 inch piece of green, because in the rainbow you have red, orange, yellow, and then green, teal, blue, and purple. So those are in color order around the block. And then for the next one, I changed it up and went teal, blue, purple, green, so that this is color order still, but I'm starting with a different small piece in that first position. Same thing here, then blue, purple, green, teal, same color order, just a different position in the block. This gives me an opportunity to use some of my small pieces in the small spot and larger pieces in the larger spot, so that not all of these pieces are just the green, for example. So it gives me a chance to use all those pieces across the project. I did it in the warm colors as well, the pink, red, orange, yellow, etc., etc. I think you get the idea. And so this is working out really well. I've laid out these 6 just to get a sense, and I'm really happy with it. And let me just show you with the cut pieces. I've got them laid out like this to take over to the sewing machine. So this is the full rainbow color order. I cut this piece at 4.5, then the teal piece at 6.5. That will fit once that seam is sewn. then another piece here at 6.5, and then the last piece at 8.5. So these are looking really, really fun. If you remember, I had about eight or 8.5 of these strips when I started the first project. I had about 3 to 3.5 pieces of each strips of each color left, and I have found that I can make 9 cool colored blocks. And I haven't cut the warm colored blocks yet, but I'm assuming I can make about 9 of those. So that's only 18 blocks. But with the leftovers here, I'm completely out of teal. So I think I need to make a little teal piece because that's all I've got. And then with all of these pieces, I can get at least one more. So I'll have 10 cool color blocks. We'll see what happens with the warm color blocks. But with 10 of each warm and cool, with 20 blocks, I could do a 4x5 layout. So I am going to finish my cool blocks. I'm going to cut my warm blocks, see what's left. I did promise to show you how I actually worked through some of these tiny little pieces on these strips, and I definitely will do that because I need more teal. But I'm going to see what else I need before I pull out all of the leftover scraps to make some more strips of color. I also want to get a sense of my layout and the size to see if I need to make any more blocks and therefore any more strips of color. So to sew these scraps onto the strips, I've got my little nest set up here and I've got Jason filming me. So the machine is right here, the iron is right here, my scraps are here. It's really easy just to sort of spin on my chair back and forth from the machine to the ironing board and back again. I've started with just a half strip because I found that the full length of strip was just awkward to maneuver and use. So I prefer a half strip. So this is my foundation. I need my glasses to sew. Let's go over here and I'll show you how to get started on this. So this is my bucket of scraps. I have my scissors here. I'm not afraid to cut things. So if we start with this, sewing the single strips is pretty easy, right? You put a piece down and then you find another piece that might look good and you lay those side by each and you run those under the machine, you know, something like that. And then I'm going to bring this over to the iron and I'm going to iron it into place. All right, so those are fairly easy and you could just keep adding strips all along there and that's not that complicated. Where it gets a little more complicated is when you want to add a piece like this. So what are the options for this triangle? I am going to put this one on here and I'll show you this approach. I'm going to put this long, is this the hypotenuse? Math teachers, I think that's the hypotenuse. I'm going to put it along there and I'll show you what happens. So sew this down like that. And then I'm going to press it, of course. Once I've pressed it though, I've now got 2 exposed edges here. So how do you deal with that? You could take, let me just take a piece. You could cut it across that way, but what was the point of using the triangle fabric in the first place? So the first piece I'm going to put on, I'm going to put on this way, and I'm going to line it up here so that my next piece is going to be a long piece to go across this angle. I could move this down, but what would the point be? Because then I'd have all of these multiple exposed edges, and that's going to be really tough to deal with. So I'm going to cut this piece just about there, and I'm going to sew it here on this side of the triangle. So let me just run that to the machine. In this case, I wouldn't be able to put one of my little sewing buddies underneath because I sort of end right in the middle of my strip. And the fact that the threads went further into my strip isn't that big of a deal. So I'm going to fold that or press that piece back. And now I need to find a piece that is long enough to cover this angle. Now I could use another triangle piece like that. In fact, I think that's going to look really good. Alternatively, is if you have a strip that's wide enough, you could use that too. Something like this piece would work. But because you see here how the foundation is showing through again? The piece after this one, if I were to use it, would probably have to, let's have to find one, would probably have to cut across that way in order to make sure that all of those raw edges get covered up. But let's go with a triangle for now. So I'm just going to set this on here and sew down that angle. Now, interestingly, it sort of looks like this is taking us almost all the way back up to the top again, but it is covered all, oh, look, it hasn't, huh? All right, so what do you do when this happens? I totally didn't mean for this to happen, but can you see how this, option one is just to leave it, because that's probably a 1/4 inch seam allowance, so you'd probably be fine. Option two is to try to fix it. Well, how do you fix that? I think I'm gonna find another triangle piece. And what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? I think this is how I'm going to sew it on. I'm going to sew it off the edge here and off the edge there. And then when I fold it back, I'll have a nice little piece to cover up that little hole. Do you see that? So let me sew that. This is not something I can start from a buddy because I kind of have to start in the middle here. So I've got that with a really tight seam allowance kind of on purpose so that I can sew that and flip it back. And then you can always use your foundation piece just to double check. You can see how all of my fabrics hang out over the edge. So I'm good. And so now I can keep going. I've got a bit of a weird shape here. And so I could put just a piece kind of across that way. In fact, I think why don't I do that? Put that piece across here. It's a matter of just taking it a step at a time and making sure you cover up. So I'm actually going to, waste, I guess, a little bit of this triangle piece, but I don't have a piece of fabric that I can sew with a little jog in it. I could also angle this a little bit if I wanted and cut off less of the pale blue triangle and more of the dark blue triangle. Let's do that just for interest. Sew across. Oops, my thread became unthreaded. Pause the video. Machine is threaded again. So I'm going to just take this across here. Your seams don't have to be a 1/4 inch. They don't even have to be all that straight if you don't want them to be. This is very, very free form, very creative, very free flowing. So you can see that I've got a bit of the extra blue here, a bit of the extra light blue. I might just trim some of that off just to take some of that extra bulk out of the project so I can fold back my foundation and give those just a little trim. You can also leave them in, it's not hurting anybody, but it'll give a little bit of extra thickness to your strip that you may not want. And so you can see I'm starting to get some really interestingly shaped pieces. You can finger press as you go. I prefer to have my iron here in my little nest area. Let's go back over there and give that just a little press. But you can see now I've got these two interesting triangle pieces worked into the piece. If I were to work a smaller triangle, let me see if I can find one. See, it would be very difficult to add a piece like this because I could add it on an angle, but then I've got all these weird edges that would be very difficult to overlap. I could just sew it here, but again, the same problem. So what I found with the very tiniest of pieces is I would find a little match for it, and I would sew that seam first, and then sew the whole piece into my strip. So that's how I would use the teeniest of pieces. Another alternative for the triangles. So let's say, let me find a nice triangle in my little bin over here. Let's say we want to use this triangle. I'm going to sew it on here, and then I'll show you how to deal with the piece that's left. Poor Jason, I'm moving around like crazy. He's trying to keep up with me with the camera and not make you nauseous at the same time. So kudos to Jason. So with that triangle piece on, the next piece has to go at a nice angle like that. So it can be a nice thin piece, maybe something like this one. And I'm going to cut it probably about here. So I'm going to sew this onto here. It's not going to be enough to cover my foundation all the way across, but we'll just add another piece. That's how it goes. It's very free form, very free flowing. Never quite know where it's going to go or where it's going to end up. All right, so that's another triangle piece integrated. And then this is another strange place, but if you take a look at it, it's actually kind of triangle shaped. So sometimes you could put a piece of triangle in like that and end up with a straight edge again. So why don't we do that? And I think that's where I'm going to end this little demonstration, because now we're back to a flat edge, which is really easy to add pieces to. And you just keep working your way down your strip. And if you find you've gotten yourself into a bit of a mess and your pieces just don't quite overlap, then just grab a big piece out of your scrap bin and put it over top. You can see that that's just wide enough. There's just enough hanging over there that it's just wide enough. But I think that's just the good use of a scrap. And here's the final quilt. Jason's back there holding it up in the garden. I'm really happy with the way that this turned out. I'm really glad I went with the alternating warm and cool colors. And I was really deliberate with the placement. So let me show you. So for the warm colors, it starts here with pink and then goes to red, orange, yellow, red, pink, or sorry, pink, red, orange, yellow, so that they all rotate kind of in rainbow order. And then I did the same thing with the cool colors as well, so that it's mixed up but also organized, and to really distribute those big bands of color. Really happy with the final result. In order to make it a little bigger, I added this skinny little inner border just with some strips from the collection, also in rainbow order. I measured the circumference and figured out approximately how much I'd need of each one. And then that gray border just to set the whole thing off. Really happy with it. It's such a simple, simple design, but these little scraps give it all kinds of life. And gosh, it was fun to use up all those little pieces. I'm so thrilled with this second design idea for the scrappy strips of rainbow fabric. I love the gray as a background. It's a bit out of my normal comfort zone, but I'm really, really happy with the contrast of the rainbow fabric with the gray background. And I think this project also really sets off those really beautiful scrappy strips of fabric. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you give this a try. Even if you don't do rainbow, it's a great way to use up lots and lots of tiny little scraps of fabric. Thanks very much for watching, and don't forget to make the most of your fabulous, fabulous bits and pieces.